name's Belinda, and I have a question about soundproofing our home. We live in a 3-flat condo building. We're in the garden unit, and sometimes our neighbors can be a little loud, and sometimes they wake up the kids. So I was hoping perhaps that you could give us some tips on how to insulate for sound. Thank you.
Well, Belinda, the sound you are trying to control is very difficult because it's that vibration contact sound that's very difficult to attenuate. You see, it just transfers right down into the space. Now, one way to quiet things down is to create a gap or put in another ceiling so that the sound hits the gap and doesn't transfer into your apartment. But my guess is you don't want to lower the ceiling anymore. You can try to add insulation up into that space. There are products out there that do a better job than conventional insulation. As a matter of fact, there's a company called Certainty that makes a product called SoundCheck. They make both batt insulation and a blown-in product. Chances are a blown-in product would be the best choice for you. But keep this in mind, it's only going to reduce the sound a little bit. So when you make that investment, you have to have a realistic approach as to what you're going to achieve when it comes to quieting down that space.
Hey Lou, I'm Dan from Oswego, and I'm buying a new house, and I have to pick out baseboards and crown molding, and I don't know anything about it.
Well, Dan, the one thing I can tell you about crown molding and baseboards is that it can really change the look of a room and your entire home. It's one of those accent pieces that really help to richen up the overall look of your home. Now, if you've never done this before, you need to take your time and invest in some videos and/or books to show you exactly how it gets installed. And I would start with the baseboard because it's easier. It's down on the ground and you can monkey with it a little bit easier than you could with the crown molding. When you get up there, you're talking about compound miter cuts, which means you'll need a compound miter saw or a coping saw to help shape those cuts. If you've never done it before, I would stay away from stained trim. If you had used painted trim, you can sort of fudge a little bit with caulking and spackling to get those cuts looking just right. So take your time, get some resources to help you learn how to do it, and you'll be amazed at the results. From our website, Dave writes, I have recently stained a 1-year-old deck in the backyard. My problem is it gets slippery. Even the dogs have a hard time walking on it when it's the slightest bit damp and even sometimes when it's bone dry. Any suggestions of anything I can put down on it to eliminate some of the slickness but not hurt the stain or the wood underneath? Well, Dave, I'm not sure what it is you used to seal that deck, but it sounds like it was some type of top coat sealer. See, that's almost like putting a floor wax on your deck. It coats over the top and it can get really slick, especially when it's damp outside. The trick when you're doing a wood deck is to use an oil-based deck stain, like this Cabot product or this Flood product. See, it soaks into the wood and grabs onto the fiber and helps protect the wood from the inside out. Now, to fix your problem, you're going to need to rent a pressure washer and clean it all off. Then once it's dry, apply 2 coats of either one of these oil-based stains, wet on wet, so you get good soaking into the wood, and then once it cures, it's going to protect that deck for up to 5 years. And when it does fade and you need to reapply it, say 5 years from now, you just wash it, let it dry, reapply it, and you're good to go.
For more information, check out our website at HouseSmartsTV.com.